Hello, ladies and gentlemen, world famous Gen Z rock star, a genius going to explain if the Black Keys are in fact rock, or they slop, or they pop, are they not? Let's look at the music matrix here. We're going to figure it out, but first we have to figure out what is slop, right? How do we detect slop? And how much of the Black Keys of their music is slop? Are the Black Keys even talented? And then finally, we're going to figure out if you are going to think that they are slop, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Let's start with what is slop? Okay, what is slop? We have the music matrix. We first look at energy from 0 to 11, Spinal Tap reference, and then we look at catchiness 0 to 10. Okay, so you're going to see there's these buckets of energy from 0 to 5. We get what's called indie, blues, jazz, country, whatever. 5 to 8 is called punk. 8 to 11 is called metal. Less than a 7 catchiness is the slop zone. This is where someone who doesn't like the band is going to call the song slop. Now, if it's above that and it's high energy, it's above the high energy line of 5 on terms of energy, it's going to get called rock. If it's less than that, it's going to get called pop. Okay, now that we know how to detect, or no, we know what slop is. Slop is less than a 7 catchy, right? Now we need to figure out how do we detect slop in the presence of it. Oh, is this slop that you're referring to? Is it in the room with us right now? Is there slop in the facility? Oh my God, slop is invading! We're being invaded by Yugoslavia. Now, tilapia, the number one way to figure out if something is slop is catchiness, right? And so slop is low catchiness. This is catchiness right here. Right here is the slop zone, total slop. Here is for fans, only fans. Here is hits, here's smash hits. And then we want to look at the number one variable for letting us know if something is slop. To detect slop is predictability. It's not going to tell you if something is guaranteed slop, but it will tell you something, it's a prerequisite. The predictability needs to be in the money zone, which is between Balanced Back in Black and Zany Bohemian Rhapsody, for it to actually have a chance of being a hit, a smash hit, etc. Because if you're corny over here, it's going to be slop. If you are quirky, so if you're completely incoherent or completely boring, it's going to be slop either way. But if you're in the money zone, you actually have a chance at making something good. It doesn't guarantee it's going to be something good. So that's how we detect slop. If something's completely unpredictable and garbage, or completely predictable and garbage, it's definitely slop. And then from there, we have to use our own taste. Now, we want to look at how much of the Black Keys music is in fact slop. Let's figure this out. Now, this is the ratio of slop to hits to music that's for fans, whether it's B-sides or deep cuts. I call them B-sides on here. Duds is what I called slop originally. Now you can look. This is a good example. I think Weezer has music that's either hits, a lot of them, or complete slop. And they don't have much music that's just for fans. Because if they have a song that fans would like, everyone else would like it too. It's that catchy. It's that high in terms of catchiness, right? Now you look at Motorhead or Slayer or Frank Zappa, which I love Frank Zappa the most. That's like one of my favorites. But he barely has any music that's universally for people who aren't fans. And he basically has not a lot of just total garbage. It's usually stuff that if you're a fan, you're going to enjoy it and get a lot of mileage out of it. So this is for only fans. Now we look here, less than 50-50. I think David Bowie has a lot of hits, but he has so many songs. He has 8 million songs, and 5 of them are hits, or 10 or 15 even. But Limp Bizkit is more like 5 hits and then 30,000 bad songs. David Bowie did the Limp Bizkit method, just way more volume. And because there are so many hits, people tend to only remember the top 10 songs or the top 15 or the top 20 from a guy. And so though David Bowie has 100 million bad songs, it goes 18 football fields back in terms of bad songs. There's so many at the top, at that front part that people actually get through, that they just remember those. It's recency bias to a certain extent because it's the only things I've ever even heard. Or they remember because it's quality. Now, we're looking at the Black Keys. If we're going to go album by album, I'm going to say there's a lot of stuff that's for fans. Most of the first records, like I Love Think Freakness, which is the second record, right? I'm like a man. And that's a tacky release. I think sixth record is Brothers the 7th or the 8th. I can't remember. But then you got El Camino, yada, yada, yada. And then, oh my God, what is that? I have the cover in my name, the cover in my head. The purple and black one with "Shine a Little Light on My Soul." Anyways, but no, I'm trying to go album by album and trying to think how much of it fits in each of these categories. I'm going to say the Black Keys don't have a lot of duds. They look more like this classic catalog, but just to hedge my bet and be safe, I'm going to leave some room for dud. So I'm going to say they're mixed between a 50-50 even split across everything and a classic catalog, which is like the Beatles, Metallica, Daft Punk, etc., where they're good like that. Now that we know what is slop, we know how to detect slop, we know how much of the Black Keys catalog is slop, and now we need to see where are they talented. The three main buckets are brand, virtuosity in terms of musicianship, and then it's songwriting. I'm going to say for songwriting, I'm just going to say it right now. They are completely green. They get a complete green check mark from green. Green means good, yellow means okay, red means bad. Now, if we're looking at musicianship, I'm going to say they're probably a green-yellow because if you're thinking they have really good vibe, good skill, but it's not like remarkable. When people go, what's the greatest guitarist of all time? They don't go Dan Auerbach, even though I probably think some of the greatest riffs and solos and songwriting with guitar is Dan Auerbach. When people go like, oh, who do I need to learn all the licks from? They don't think of it. Maybe they should. But if we're going off what most people think, and I'm trying to predict what you're going to think, I'm going to say you're probably going to put them at yellow-green. You're either going to say, okay, good, or, normal. Same with Patrick. And then, okay, now we're looking at brand. Brand, I'm going to say probably a yellow here because I like the Black Keys, but you do not have a Black Keys t-shirt, at Walmart the same way someone buys a Guns N' Roses or Metallica who's like Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian would have to actually listen to the Black Keys and she wouldn't just be wearing it. So I'm going to give her maybe a yellow, maybe a red, just because the brand isn't winning. Here's what it is. If a brand is green, it's making people who hate the music try and convince themselves to like it. I'll give you a good example. Is the band Molly Hatchet, which are kind of a country rock band, and they have album artwork by Frank Franzetti, and it's really insane, cool, like Viking drawings, Conan the Barbarian type of stuff. And then, so the brand was really good and the logos and everything. And though I didn't dig what was happening here, it was such a cool album cover. I was like, give it another chance. Keep listening to it. Find the things you like about it. And eventually I did. And now I do like the other stuff that Molly Hatchet does. And so likewise, that's kind of the example of what a good brand would look like, function like, do like. And so likewise, I don't think the Black Keys has a brand that has a cultural, historical presence and impact that's going to win over someone just from the logos, just from the cultural hype. Though I like them and love them, I don't think their brand is like making people who don't really like music want to say, oh, I like them, and like kind of fake along to fit in with people. The same way Deftones might have that effect. You might think like, I haven't listened to much of Deftones, but the fans and the whole culture around it is so nauseating, filled by phony posers who don't even like rock music or any of that stuff, who like clearly mostly enjoy slop and or low energy music. They're like, no, I like this thing, and I'm telling you it's not slop and it's high energy. It makes me suspect of them. But I'm going to say they've kind of got this even distribution where they've got a yellow-green here, a green, and maybe a yellow-red. So are they kind of, basically, if you just care about branding, you're probably not going to dig the Black Keys as much as if you care about musicianship and songwriting being their strongest strength. So now that we know where their talents lie, we know what slop is, we know how much of the catalog is slop, and we know how to call out slop when we hear it, we're going to figure out if you and most people are going to call the Black Keys slop or not. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to say the top 10 songs is usually what people think of. I'm going to give you my top 10, and we're going to see where it ranks in terms of average energy and catchiness. We're going to go up in energy, and then we're going to go across in catchiness. So we're going to start with Gold on the Ceiling. I just got, ain't no love in my heart. Very catchy. Baby, I'll have them for you. Banana nut bread. 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 Doo-doo. And then, whoa, I got love that keeps me waiting. I'm a lonely boy. I'm a lonely boy. And then the intro to Shine a Little Light. So good. Little black submarine operatably let me back on my mind. Oh, can it be? The voice is calling me, but they lost. Yeah, good time. Oh, no, no. Everybody knows that a boat is blind. That a broke is blind. Down, 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 down. Oh, so good. Oh, my ex-girl, oh, be nothing like my ex-girl. I made mistakes back then, I won't do it again. Oh, my next girl, down, 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 down. You won't be nothing like my ex-girl. I made mistakes back then, I don't do it again. Anyways, tidying up on your race, you're running wild. And then I got mine, Bell, no, I got mine. And then what is it? Down, 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 and down, 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 oh, out down, 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 and over my heart, doom, 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 fever, bam, bam, bum, bum, fever, down, down, doom, bam, 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 bum, bum, da 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 da, doom, doom, bam, 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 fever, da da, bam, 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 bam. Dude, come on, come on, come on, come on. It's too good. It's too good. So, what do we say? He said, I'm going to give it to them in terms of songs for sure. Musicianship is a squiggly yes. I would, but most people, you might not. I'm going to give him a check, though, in musicianship and in songs. Brand, I'm going to leave it blank. Catalog, I'm going to say looking like that pretty much. You know what I mean? And then medium controversy. But if we look at it, the energy level is a 6.8, which puts us kind of a little, definitely more in the punk rock and roll range than the indie and pop range. And then we're going to look at the average catchiness. What did you notice from all those songs? The reason I couldn't stop embarrassingly humming everything, nothing embarrassing about it. No, going and humming about it was the songs are catchy as all heck. They're a 9.7. So we go up here, about a 6.3, and we say, okay, it's a little bit in the punk, blues, rock range. And then we go over, it would be in the range of catchiness 9. I'm going to call it a rock band. If anything, they might get pulled down and or to the right, back to the origin, more towards the slop gradient. The slop gradient kind of pulls you down like that. And so I'm going to say they're probably a rock band is what most people are going to say. Some people might call them a little poppy for their liking. And then some people, if they're really slop agnostic, they're going to call them maybe indie blues, punk, rock, whatever. But that's where I'm going to predict. I'm going to say the Black Keys are a rock band, and they are not, in fact, making slop. And so let me know what you think. Are the Black Keys slop? Am I wrong? Am I just shilling for the Black Keys because I like the Black Keys? I like the Black Keys. I like their music a lot. Tidying up on your range, you're running wild. Look at me. I'm green. Gringo! Is this what they mean when they say gringo? Hi there, gringo. Speaking of gringo, Latinas, hit me up. I'm here. You know where to find me, Austin, Texas. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Like the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Let me